Hello everybody, welcome back to the Ketogenic Fasting Project video number 29, and I'm continuing my little idea of getting back to basics, trying not to get too far afield and try not to lose people who are new to the idea, who are just looking for some ideas on how to get started and to try and understand how the concept works and what it can achieve, at least for some people, or at least what it did for myself. So one of the biggest problems with all diets is how do you stay on a diet? We all kind of probably have a negative connotation of the word diet, and a lot of times you'll see diet has been replaced with the concept of lifestyle. You're on a ketogenic lifestyle, low carb lifestyle, vegan lifestyle, whatever it is. So instead of thinking about, well, I'm just gonna go on a diet and restrict what I eat or whatever, you kind of groom the idea into like, this is a whole new thing I'm going to do every day for the rest of my life, which isn't all bad, and you don't necessarily have to make up your mind you're never going to stray, but if you're going to stray, it's going to be for a short period of time, like one day, and then get back on. I don't really stray hardly ever. I don't really feel compelled to, but that's just me. Some people really look forward to cheat days, stuff like that, concepts of oh well, I'm gonna do really good for a month and then I'm just gonna go off the rails for a weekend or something. I haven't really ever gotten to that where that really appealed to me. I'm more focused on recovering my health and getting the extra fat off now because I feel healthy and I want to do stuff, and I just want to focus on getting lean, and I'm not really interested in what I can get away with that diverts from that. So I understand that that's in a lot of people's minds, but I think generally it's a losing strategy until you actually get where you want to be. If you're a guy and you want to get down to 10% body fat, or you want to be able to run a marathon or something, then fine. But I don't see that cheating or giving myself some reason to get away with something is really going to help. But maybe some people need that, maybe that works for some people. I really don't know, but it seems like a bad idea to me. Before we get too deep into this, I want to ask everybody to please subscribe. My goal is to get to 1,000 people. I've only been at this a month, and I probably have somewhere between 18 and 20 subscribers, so that getting to 1,000 is going to be quite a task. So any help I can get with that, if people can share these videos, people might be able to use them, and give me a hand with that, I'd appreciate it. I think most of the problems with getting into a new diet or new way of eating, new way of life is mostly psychological. So I think there's a lot that people are kind of afraid of. They're afraid of depriving themselves. They're afraid of missing things. They're afraid of not having rewards or comforts or whatever. Um, it's one of the things I think I keep stressing because I think it's important is that you just consume the information first. I think that by learning about it, sticking with the learning process, you kind of condition yourself and you begin to appreciate what you could do, and you give that more value than what you are doing. I think the understanding and the knowledge of the details kind of gives you leverage against the things you're used to doing. And it alleviates some of the fears too, I'm sure. So I think that sticking to a diet, maybe learning stuff, is more important than just making up your mind you're going to do it. You're going to start tomorrow or whatever. But I think it's once you make that commitment to learn about it and keep learning about it and keeping your head in the game, I think the rest of it will fall into place. And I think that's less of a daunting task than just saying, oh, I'm going to start eating differently tomorrow. I'm going to throw all my food out and get new food tomorrow, because there's a lot that goes into that, finding the right food. For a lot of us, it's a matter of finding a decent price on the right food, and then, figuring out how you're going to prepare it, how you're going to store it, how you're going to take it with you wherever you need to go or what have you, how you're going to eat at the right time. So instead of hitting all those practical issues right up front, if you can learn about it and really wrap your head around it, I think you'll just be motivated to do it. So you might want to think about just doing it for a short period of time instead of thinking about doing it forever, because that's also a little less daunting. So you say, yeah, what if I just try it for a month or a week or whatever? And then I think that if you do it right, you're going to feel better. And that alone is going to be a major incentive to keep going. You'll feel different, and then you give you a chance to say, oh, I don't really miss the cookies or the cake or whatever, the candy, the soda, whatever it is, the bread that you're afraid of missing. I think that you take a little peek over the other side and get yourself there, and then all those things seem less challenging. Even trying it for a day, uh, test your blood sugar and see how it affects how the food you eat affects your blood sugar levels. And make sure you're doing it for yourself. Think, this could avoid, being sick, could avoid being time in the hospital, could avoid missing something that you really want to do. If you start talking to people, maybe join some Facebook groups or some other online group, or maybe you can find a group to meet up with locally. I think having that camaraderie helps. I know when I started this, I had a friend to talk to who was doing the same thing. It's like, oh, what'd you eat and where'd you get it? How'd you prepare it? How much did you need? And you're always coming up with ideas that the other person didn't come up, or one of you's remembering something from a book the other didn't, and that's helpful. Um, somebody else is doing it, and you're doing it. It's not a fluke. You realize anybody could do it. It's like fasting. The first time people fast for intermittent period of time, 16 hours, they're surprised how easy it is. Then they do it for a day, and they're like, "Wow, I was surprised how easy that was." And I think too, if you start writing down what you eat and you're honest with yourself, use an app or whatever, just write it down. Just be honest with yourself. Internal honesty is probably the most important thing to weeding all this out. When you have trouble sticking with it, you might just need to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? You really afraid of missing sweets, or are you afraid of having to inject insulin more? Are you going to miss oatmeal, or are you going to miss not having back pain? You going to miss that bread, or are you going to miss going blind? Going for a walk, or eventually being stuck in bed for a long period of time? What you weigh those things, and then ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? You afraid of giving up a soda pop or something, or a beer, or whatever. It's not really that big a deal when you get down to it. You just got to realize it's not that big a deal, that all those things that you might think you're enjoying right now are really just poisoning you. If you can take out all the artificial foods, even if you don't go on a keto or carnivore, or even necessarily a low carb diet, if you could just get rid of all the artificial foods, all the highly processed stuff. I mean, if you just checked your blood sugar and took away the stuff that spikes your blood sugar, and then if you could just eat within a window, that's a lot of progress for most people. Not everybody has to do more than that, but it's a good step. Well, again, I'd like to thank you for watching. And I hope this helps somebody get started. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay inspired, stay curious. Um, Try and keep your head in the game. Think about it every day. Listen to a video every day or something like that. Read a little, listen to an audiobook.